up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another monthly wrap up. It's for October. I can't believe we're already in November. That is so crazy to me. Like, the year went by like that, and I feel like I did absolutely nothing. Like, nothing at all. But it's time for October wrap up. I read 7 books for October, and it was actually like a good month. Like, I've read some really cool books, some really good books, a lot of funny stuff, which is not usual. Like, most of the stuff I read, I don't find myself like chuckling hee hee ha ha ha, but I found myself laughing at a lot of the books I read this month. So I'm gonna get into it. Here are all of my monthly facts. I don't know what word I'm looking for. All my monthly stats. That's the word, stats. All my stats. You can see what my average rating was. Once again, how many books I read, and my top books of the month. But let's get into the first book because I'm excited to talk to y'all about what I read. So the first book for the month is The Perfect Find by Tia Williams. This is the first Tia Williams book I've read, and I'm so mad at myself for taking so long to read her books because this book is so good. And I just started reading 7 Days in June, and I'm only 100 pages in, and I love it so much. So this one is a contemporary, somewhat enemies to lovers, forced proximity, workplace romance about Jenna and Eric, and they are 18 years apart. She is older, and turns out that he is her boss's son, which makes things really complicated. But I love this book so much. It was hilarious. It was anger inducing at times. Like, a lot of stuff was making me angry, but I just went through the full range of emotions with this book. But it was so good. I loved it. I cried. I laughed. It got 5 stars. It's really good. The next book is I Accidentally Summoned a Demon Boyfriend by Jessica Cage. I was not planning to read this book, like, at all. But something, like, in me was like, just go ahead and read it. It's October. It's kind of the time for it, you know. And I almost DNF'd this book from the first chapter. I was cringing so hard in the first chapter. And actually a little bit in the like second and third chapter. Like, it took me a minute to get into this book because, first of all, first chapter, if you read this book, you know the first chapter is crazy and wild and ridiculous. Like, let me see if I can find the title of the first chapter for y'all. Can y'all see the title of the first chapter? If y'all can't, I'll put it on the screen. Like, what? I read that, it was like, huh? What is going on? But even like throughout the whole book, there were a lot of things that were like making me like, ugh. Like, a lot of decisions and all kinds of stuff like the main character's making. I'm like, Raina, girl, what are you doing? So it's about Raina, and her dating life is horrible. So she reads a spell from one of her fantasy books and accidentally summons a demon into her life. And they grow to like each other over time because they don't like each other to begin with. But I guess once you get past the first couple of chapters, it's cute. It's okay. I gave it 3.75 stars. I mean, it was okay. It was just okay. Next book is Wild is the Witch by Rachel Griffin. I posted a like halfway check-in on this book, and I liked it. It was cute. It's about Iris, and she's a young witch, and her grandmother taught her that when she's having big feelings, she should put together a herb mixture, make a spell, and put it into these herbs and then burn it. So there's a guy she works with at her family's wildlife refuge named Pike that she does not like, and something he says makes her feel like he doesn't like witches. So she tries to do what her grandmother tells her. She puts a curse on him and wants to put it into this bundle of herbs to burn it. And then when she's ready to burn it, an owl swoops down, and the spell or the curse goes into the owl instead of into the herbs. And this particular owl, I think it's called a northern spotted owl, is an amplifier, which means if the curse gets released, it'll be like 1,000,000 times worse than what it was intended to be. So she ends up having to go out into the wilderness to find this owl to get the curse out of it, or to like kill the owl. And she ends up going with Pike, the guy who the curse is for, which makes it really awkward because she can't really fully explain why she's there because he doesn't know she's a witch. It's just, you know, so it's just them out in the wild trying to find this. They're Forced proximity again makes their like relationship change, and they start to see each other in a new light, especially Pike, because he's like really annoying and sarcastic, and I can't stand him in the beginning, but you start to like him more throughout the story once you hear like what he's been through. He's been through a lot. So it was good. I believe I gave this also 3.75 stars. I always have to double check, so let me double check so I'm not giving y'all false information. Yeah, Wild as the Witch got 3.75 stars. Next book is The Witchery by S. Isabel. This is a book I started reading like 2 years ago and finally finished it last month, which is crazy. I don't even know why I stopped reading this book. I think when I started this back then, I ended up in like a slump and just didn't feel like reading anything. And I was reading like 2 or 3 books at that point, and I just stopped reading everything where I was. I was reading this. I was reading By the Book by Jasmine Guillory, which I still haven't finished, and one other book that I can't remember. But this one, I'm glad I finished it because it was really, really good. It's about these 4 witches. It's Iris, Logan, Jayla, and Talia. And they live in a town called Halesford, which has witches and mundanes, which are normal humans. And every year there's a haunting season where these wolves come out and they kill people. And the 4 of them are trying to figure out how to break said curse, along with 2 boys from the local all-boys school, Hammersmith, I believe it is called. It's just, this book definitely gives off like craft vibes, especially if you look at the back of it. So this one, I believe I gave it 4 stars. There was a lot going on. There's a lot to keep up with at times. There were some things that didn't get fully explained that I felt like were jumped over or rushed through a little bit. But overall, the story was good. I have the second book, Shadow Coven. I don't know if I'm going to get to it this year because I already have a list of stuff I want to read for the rest of the year. But I'm going to get to it as soon as I possibly can so I can see what could possibly be going on afterwards. I know at the end, in the epilogue, something happened, and that's probably going to be the main focus of the second book. But we'll see. But yeah, 4 stars. Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. This is the first like actual horror book that I read that was not like Goosebumps, if that counts as horror. That's like little kitty horror. But this is the first actual like full-blown horror, not a thriller or mystery or anything, like horror book that I have read. And I think that I am now hooked on horror books because now I just want to read more. Like that sense of build up to when you know something is going to happen, the way the writing is, like, it's weird. It was weird. It's like how when you're watching a scary movie and you know something is about to happen and you like brace yourself. It's crazy. And this book, when I finished this book, I was in the bed, I finished this book, and I had a hard time sleeping after I read this. After I finished this book. It was crazy. I was thinking about it all night when I woke up. I worked nights, so when I woke up all night while I was at work, I was thinking about this book. It's about Anna and Reed, and they have not a newborn, but an almost 1-year-old baby. And the birth caused Anna to be paralyzed from the waist down, so she's in a wheelchair. And they win a housing lottery in this like luxury apartment building that there's no like history about. The husband goes looking for information on the building, and he finds like one book, and he's reading it, and he's obsessed with it. But the longer they're there, the more like weird things are going on. Their baby starts acting weird. Windows are opening randomly in the middle of the night. The baby's waking up like blood curdling, screaming. The neighbors are weird. Sometimes they barely see any neighbors at all. It was crazy. Like the back of it says Rosemary's Baby meets Salem's Lot, which it makes, like, that's the perfect explanation for it. This was such a creepy and scary book. Like when I say I had a hard time falling asleep. Very, very hard time falling asleep. Like had to have every door closed. It was like ridiculous. But I gave this 5 stars, and I will definitely be reading more horror books in the future, whether it's Halloween time or not. The next book is Tender Beasts by Lysel Sandberry. This, I believe, is the 4th book by Lysel Sandberry, the second thriller. And the one thing about her thrillers is that they tend to have like these really strange explanations for things that are going on, or things that catch you like completely off guard. Like, huh? Like, really? So in this one, we follow the Bear family, mostly the two younger children, Sunny and Dom, and their mother has just passed away, and Dom is being investigated, was arrested actually, for murdering his girlfriend, and well, allegedly murdering his girlfriend. And then there start to be these murders at their school that at first Sunny thinks that he's doing it, but then they start working together to figure out what's going on. And he's like the black sheep of the family. They like left him out of stuff growing up. It was like the way they treated him was so unnecessary and crazy. But it just, the twists and turns in this is wild. There are 5 siblings, and it turns out the other 3, the 3 older ones, got all kinds of secrets of their own. And the dad is just, he's just helpless without the wife. Like, he doesn't know how to do anything. Like, he's just completely clueless. But this one was really, really good. I believe I gave this 4.5 stars. I don't know why. It didn't feel like a 5 to me. It felt like 4.5 stars. I think I also gave Delicious Monsters like 4 or 4.5 stars. It was something about the way these wrap up. It didn't feel finished to me actually at the end. I don't know if she's writing another one to go with this, but it just felt kind of unfinished after the epilogue. And another thing that's really cool though about this is that in the last chapter, or maybe in the epilogue, they make a mention of characters from Delicious Monsters, so it's like within the same world, which I think is really, really cool. So but this was still really good. It was really creepy also, and I like the like mystery of it all. So yeah, this got 4.5 stars. And the last book for the month is the book club read for October, Endless Amount of Books. I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me by Jameson Shea. This book was wild. I don't think I've ever read anything like this ever. If you are like a fan of Black Swan and ballet, then you would probably really love this. Main character is Lawrence, and she is a ballerina that is about to ascend into the Paris Ballet Company. I believe that's what it's called. She's graduating from the academy to go into the company, and she ends up going down into the catacombs with another ballerina who people question because she rose up in the ranks so fast. And she makes a deal for power. And she ends up using this power to kind of like persuade the people that are in charge to like, hey, look at me, watch me, pick me kind of thing. And a lot of really gruesome, creepy stuff starts happening to people around her. People get hurt real bad. It definitely gives off the Black Swan vibes for sure. And I love ballet. So what was funny is the final performance they did in the academy was for Giselle. And I had just been watching Giselle videos before we started reading this. So I just thought that was an interesting coincidence. But yeah, this was really, really good. I gave this 4 stars. And just like the Witchery, there were some things in here that could have used more of an explanation. I know you shouldn't over-explain in books, but there are some things that I feel like should be explained a little bit more. Like, what exactly are we dealing with this thing, this entity that she made a deal with? It's never explained what exactly it is. It just is. But still, I loved it. I tore through this book. And I would highly, highly, highly recommend it, especially since the sequel is coming out, which the name of it is similar to this one. I just cannot remember what it is right now. But this got 4 stars. So that is my wrap up for October. I believe I got through most everything on my list of reads for like the fall, spooky, cozy, creepy season, except for I didn't get to read Mexican Gothic, and I didn't get to read One Dark Window or Two Twisted Crowns like I wanted to. But I'm gonna I'm trying to decide if I want to save those for next Halloween or just get to them when I can get to them next year. We'll see. But yeah, it was a really good reading month. I read some really great stuff. Some stuff I left on the back burner. Some stuff that's like opened up new worlds to me. It was just a great month. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, turn on your notifications, leave a comment, let me know what your favorite book you read last month was, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.